Live. Now, let's go live and direct to Huck and Dave for Liberty or Lockdown.
Welcome back to Liberty or Lockdown. This is Huck.
And this is Dave.
Dave, my faithful sidekick. How are you?
Well,
How's your mother? How are you hanging in there?
well, my mom died two days ago.
Dave, I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. I did not know.
So
that.
she made
Dave,
it to.
you can't give me that kind of bad news on air.
Well, you just asked me on air.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You should have asked me
Oh,
before.
my goodness.
My mom made it one day shy of 95 and a half years old. So I can't complain. That's a pretty good long lifespan. And she was in good health up until the last few weeks, really. She was even, believe it or not, at age 95, she was even able to drive and drive decently.
Wow.
And she was more or less in her right mind. Of course, I couldn't tell you the number of times I heard the stories about when she was a little girl in Honduras and she had malaria. And anyway.
No. Tell us. I want to do a little tribute to your mother.
Okay.
And
well, when my mom was a little girl, she was kind of shifted from one house to another. Her mother was there, but she had remarried, and so for some reason my grandmother didn't want my mom with her. So she lived with various other people, and she was always a very quiet little girl. And one time she had malaria for a year, and nobody knew
Wow.
about it because she never complained about it. And finally, one day she just sort of collapsed, and they said, "Oh, this little girl's sick. Let's treat her." But she eventually wound up coming to the United States at, I think, about age 18 or so. And then she met my dad, who's a Border Patrol agent, and she was a good looking woman. So he said, "I'm going to marry her." And sure enough, he did. And then a few years
Wow.
later, my brother came along, and then I came along. So anyway, she wound up getting divorced and remarried. But for, I don't know how many years, she ran a pet shop, and she was a real businessy type person. So when she was really getting up in age, she was still able to tell the stories about her youth, and she was still able to drive, and she still had rental property, which I'm inheriting. Oh boy. I think that my mom wanted to make sure that I earned my inheritance because she had an envelope over here and an envelope over there and an envelope over there in like 10 different locations around the house. And here's a bill from FEMA, and there's a bill from FEMA, and here's a statement from this one and that one. And so I've spent at least 10 hours just looking through envelopes and putting together stuff into a file cabinet. But anyway, my mom,
what's your mom's name?
Celia Perry.
Celia Perry. So when she learned English?
Celia Bermudez.
There you have it.
When she was in Honduras, she went to school and she learned to speak English just fine. So she came here, and
So you're half Honduran?
yes, I am.
I love that.
Soy medio Latino.
Uh-huh.
I know I don't look it, and whenever
Did your mom speak Spanish to you when you were a child, or
No.
just English?
just
By the
English.
time you came, it was just English.
Yeah. So when I was in college, I took a class in Spanish, but the thing that really helped me learn Spanish is when I went to Peru on a mission trip and spent a couple weeks. By the end of 2 weeks, I was thinking in Spanish. But then that's one of those things, you use it or lose it.
Mhm.
So anyway, we're
Wow.
trying to get everything all straightened out, and I'm very, very thankful. I want to give a little shout out to Passages Hospice. They're wonderful. My mom was in really pretty good health up until about the last 5 weeks, and then she was sleeping more and more, and then she finally told me she thought she needed to go to the hospital and get checked. Well, at age 95, we went to the hospital, and this had never shown up before. She had developed a tumor in her colon, and so she went very quickly from then on. But we got in touch with Passages Hospice, and we were able to do in-home hospice. My niece and I were there 24/7, mainly my niece. And so mom was comfortable, and they gave us all the equipment we needed. And up until about the last 3 days, she didn't need medication, but then the tumor was getting her, and she did have to go on morphine. But, you know, 3 days out of 95 years, that's not too bad.
No, I
So,
wouldn't say so at all. So
so
she
that,
lived a long life
oh yeah,
and
so that's one of my unsolicited shout outs is Passages Hospice. Another one, guys, you know, if you were raised Catholic as I was, you were told, oh no, cremation is bad. Well, you know, God's got to put your body back together, no matter what happens. Well, anyway, I'm not Catholic, and so we worked out a cremation plan with a group called the Neptune Society. They should be sending us money for this ad. Um, it was wonderful. We prepaid, my mom, my wife, and I, and so when it happened, I called them, and they sent somebody over, and you know, of course, the nurse had to certify the death, but they came over and got her and brought her to the facility. And I went the other day to sign all the paperwork. No hidden charges, nothing like that. Very, very smooth, very simple. So thank you, Neptune Society.
all right. Well, Dave, we'll continue to lift you up and pray that the Lord give you peace in your heart as you continue to work through your mother's home and whatever it is that
Yeah.
she's
Now,
left to you.
this was a really nice thing. I think this is about the best way you could go. My cousin from Honduras had called and asked if she could come by and visit my mom. And I said, sure. So she came by and said, can I pray? I said, absolutely. So she laid hands on my mom and she was praying for her. And we noticed about partway through the prayer, mom stopped breathing.
Really?
So that I think is the best way to go when somebody is praying for you.
That's the most beautiful story, Dave.
Yeah, very peaceful.
Wow. God is good. All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us. Do you have is your brother still with you?
No, my only brother died about 4 years ago,
Okay.
but his kids came to town, my nieces and nephews, and one of my nieces has been absolutely fantastic. She took time off. She's learning to be a sign language interpreter, certified, and all of that stuff. But she took time off from schooling, and that's another thing that the hospice helped us with. They sort of ran interference to clear everything. And so she stayed with my mom 24/7, except I would come over every day and give her several hours of relief. So then also the other nephews and nieces, my brother's kids, um, they've been in town, and you know, we just had some nice family times together again.
That's wonderful. So, this is the part of us that, you know what, we have families. We have
Yeah,
mothers and fathers, sisters and brothers, and we're on air. We talk about, current events and politics, but we have family
yeah.
and we go through the same thing everyone else goes through. And so it's important to pray. It's very important to pray.
So if you're out there in radio land, you may not like to think about this, but you're going to die.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm going to die. Martha's going to, we're all going to die. You need to be ready to meet the Lord at any time.
Yes, I agree with that. All right, we'll be right back. This is Liberty or Lockdown.
There's a man with a gun over there telling me I got to beware. I think it's time we stop. Children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. I think it's time we stop. Children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. There's battle lines being drawn. Nobody's right if everybody's wrong. Young people speak their
Hello, Patriots. My name is Connie, and I am a fellow Louisianian. I started an online store in 2019 exclusively selling products which are made in the USA. My site is AmericanCentralStore.com. That's AmericanCentralStore.com. The reason for this ad is that I need products. I am trying to find drop shipping merchants with Louisiana-made products that can ship directly to the customer. If you are a Louisiana merchant who makes quality products, and if you can drop ship your products directly to the customer, I would love to hear from you. The only products I cannot carry right now are clothing items, but will carry those in the future. Please visit my site at AmericanCentralStore.com. Click the Contact Us link for the phone number and email address. Thank you, Patriots. Be American, buy American.
What? Chicken. Some of them old bars down in the Louisiana legislature are willing to let teachers teach our kids that all white people are inherently racist, and that Louisiana is a racist state, and that America is a racist country. Them old bars are too chicken to stand up for America. They ought to be put out on the chicken farm. Some people in the Louisiana legislature want to permit the teaching of critical race theory in our state. That theory says that if two babies are born today, one black baby and one white baby, that the white baby is the mean racist oppressor of the black baby, and that the black baby is the weak, incompetent victim of the white baby. Unbelievable. Those people say that the innocent white baby by his DNA is bad and racist, and the black baby by his DNA is a weak victim who can never succeed. Only a total fool would believe or accept this idiocy. Yet they want to teach this foolishness to Louisiana's young people. Please call your legislator today and raise some sand.
You can check out He Said, She Said on A New Day.
Hump Day,
A new day, but we'll still be discussing and debating the hot topics
Wednesdays at 5.
here on WGSO.
Hello, this is David Jeremiah. Join me each weekday morning at 5:30 or 6:30 for Turning Point here on Talk Radio 990 AM.
Join me, BJ Rust, every Saturday night for the Something to Say radio show on WGSO 990 AM and streaming live on WGSO.com.
We are not going to take it anymore. There's so much going on out there. We have Trump indictment. Trump is just that judge, and the attorney general from New York are after him. She keeps tweeting about him, trying to get his social media. It actually comes across as she's really biased, and this is all an intent to. It's like almost as if you go on there, you see that there may be some election tampering. They're trying to get him to not be able to run in 2024 ultimately.
Oh, there's a lot of stuff about that.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to talk about the most important thing in the world right now.
What's that?
The person of the year, Taylor Swift.
Oh,
Okay, we're talking about this.
so you're switching from Trump to Taylor Swift? Are
yeah,
you kidding me?
from Trump
You
to
think
Swift.
our listeners want to hear about Taylor Swift over
We will-
President Trump?
We will be back. There was
I'm sorry,
a
guys.
There was a movie some years ago called Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. In it, Bill and Ted, it was a comedy. Bill and Ted have a music group called Wild Stallions, and there's time travel involved. And the guy comes back from the future, and their entire society in the future is based upon the music of Bill and Ted's group, Wild Stallions. Well, the way things are going right now with Taylor Swift, you would think that our entire future society is going to be based on Taylor Swift's music. Now, I may have some really angry people with me after seeing this. Yeah, Taylor Swift is okay, but she's not the solution to the world problems. But yet, to many people, that's the biggest thing, the biggest news. Taylor Swift is coming to town. Okay, now we can go back to Trump.
Oh, I'm still trying to get over that we switched from Trump to Taylor Swift.
Well, there's a T in the beginning of Taylor,
Uh-huh.
and there's a T in the beginning of Trump. So
Oh.
there's a connection.
We're talking about Trump saving America and Taylor Swift. I don't even know what to say about that, but
She's going to save America too through her music.
and her boyfriend.
Oh,
Who's
who's
the
that?
athlete?
I don't know. Who is it?
She's at a lot of those games. I can't remember. Travis Kelsey. Thank you to
Okay,
our producer.
Whoever that is.
Thank you,
Travis
Ron.
Kelce.
Travis Kelsey. Well, I mean, if you watch, you see her in the little back room with the window. They're always showing her. And so it's a big deal that she's following him around. And I don't know.
It's
I don't
just-
follow it. I don't get it. but
It's
it's,
just
not my genre.
It's just amazing how our priorities are. A music person or athletes or something like that. To me, the most important people are going to be like teachers and police and firemen and the military and so forth. But hey, we don't pay them megabucks, do
Well,
we?
I know we were talking about this during the break, but my 13-year-old and his buddies are all saying that she doesn't sing that well and that it's a synthesized voice. And so
Yeah.
that's what the teenagers are saying.
Boy, you just made a bunch of people mad.
I'm just telling you what some of these boys are saying behind the closed doors.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure, but anyway, I do know there's an Eagle concert coming up here in New Orleans on February 17th. Saturday at the Smoothie King Center, the Eagles at 7:30. I plan on buying my hubby a couple of tickets so he can go with his friends. They could jam out to the Eagles.
Okay.
You know anything about the Eagles?
Yeah, they're these big birds that fly around and it's illegal to shoot them. But
Dave and I are not sinking today.
but if you cook a golden eagle, a bald eagle just right, it tastes just like a golden condor.
Oh my goodness. Well, what news do we have here?
Okay, well, back to Mr. Trump. How about that?
That's good.
Okay.
That's very good. Our president is taking a beating.
Well, there was a interesting bit of news the other day from the U.S. Supreme Court. One of the defendants on the January 6th, who's been arrested and jailed for several years now, appealed, and the Supreme Court has said, yes, we will hear this case. He was sent to prison on the grounds that, let's see, what was it? On the grounds that he was trying to interfere with an official proceeding or something to that effect, for obstructing an official proceeding. And the Supreme Court said, well, we're not quite so sure. We'll hear the case. Was he violating such and such a law that says you can't corruptly obstruct an unofficial proceeding? Well, the guy said, look, I was there expressing my own opinion, and I wasn't trying to obstruct any proceeding. So if his case is successful, that would certainly have a bearing on President Trump, all the accusations against him. Was he trying to obstruct an official proceeding? Well, I don't know how he could be accused of attempting to overthrow the government when he was the government at the time. He was the president when all of this stuff happened. Mr. Biden didn't take over for a couple of weeks afterward. So anyway, it's very interesting that the U.S. Code 1512C2 criminalizes any effort to corruptly obstruct, influence, or impede any official proceeding. So this guy has appealed to the U.S. Supreme Court, and they said, we'll hear that. Well, that makes me wonder, the guy that pulled the fire alarm in the House of Representatives so he could impede an official proceeding, shouldn't he be sent to jail also?
Yes,
Seems to me.
I would think so too.
Yeah. So anyway, and Mr. Trump has complained about some voting problems in various places, like in Arizona. Okay. In Arizona, there was an interesting thing that just got released. Arizona will allow you to vote in a federal election if you can't prove you're a U.S. citizen. They won't allow you to vote in a local election. So in Maricopa County, Arizona, which is one of the key districts that swung the presidential election, there have been identified 5,600 federal only ballots, which means these people were ineligible to vote in state races because they couldn't prove they were citizens. 5,600. Well, it was a matter of a few thousand votes in Maricopa County that swung it on behalf of Biden as opposed to Trump. So that raises suspicions. Of course, you and I have had suspicions since the very beginning, several years ago on this, but I think it's really suspicious that there were that many votes, federal only ballots. So we just have to wonder about, well, what about other places?
Well, here locally, there's a discrepancy up north over one vote.
Oh yeah. That's in Caddo Parish.
Caddo Parish, that's right.
Yeah, the Supreme Court. I believe it was the state Supreme Court. The Caddo Parish sheriff's election was decided by one vote out of about 43 or 44,000 or something like that. And so the Louisiana Supreme Court took a look at it and they said, no, there's at least 11 votes that have been documented to be fraudulent. And there's a one vote margin. Nope, redo your election. And of course, what do some people say? Oh, that's racist. That sounds to me like it's an attempt to obtain a fair election.
It's unbelievable. I mean, you would think that people would really want to know if our elections are being tampered with.
Yeah.
And what harm is it to actually redo an election?
Yeah.
It could only come out to benefit both people, that when you actually redo something, you have both to compare to.
Unless, of course, you're willing to cheat to get your candidate in.
Well, exactly. And you'd have to come up with more than 80 million votes for Biden to win this next go round.
For nationwide, yeah.
Right. And so I'm not sure he could pull that off. I mean, because they'd have to shut it down more than just the nighttime. It'd have to be all day to get more than 80 million. We'll be right back. This is Liberty or Lockdown.
Check it. Some of them old bars down in the Louisiana legislature are willing to let teachers teach our kids that all white people are inherently racist, and that Louisiana is a racist state, and that America is a racist country. Them old bars are too chicken to stand up for America. They ought to be put out on the chicken farm. Some people in the Louisiana legislature want to forbid the teaching of critical race theory in our state. That theory says that if two babies are born today, one black baby and one white baby, that the white baby is the mean racist oppressor of the black baby, and that the black baby is the weak, incompetent victim of the white baby. Unbelievable. Those people say that the innocent white baby by his DNA is bad and racist, and the black baby by his DNA is a weak victim who can never succeed. Only a total fool would believe or accept this idiocy. Yet they want to teach this foolishness to Louisiana's young people. Please call your legislator today and raise some sand.
When the time came, I knew I had to find a place where Mom would be safe and active while still feeling independent. A place that was close to all of us and everything she needed. Locally owned and operated in the heart of Gonzales, I found Francois Ben's Senior Living. They specialize in independent and assisted living and memory care.
Call 225-647-BEND for more information on our special pre-leasing offers.
Francois Ben's Senior Living. Experience life as it should be.
Louisiana Radio Network, I'm Brooke Thorington. For the first time since he was elected House Speaker, Louisiana Congressman Mike Johnson got a chance to spend the weekend in his district. During his time back home, Johnson visited one of his favorite breakfast spots, Strawn's Eat Shop in Shreveport. He held a town hall meeting televised by the Fox News Network.
There's a lot of issues on the hearts and minds of the American people, and the folks of this area is no different, of course. They're worried about the open border and inflation and fentanyl crisis and the economy.
Work continues on trying to identify the remains of a body found in 2005 in an oil drum encased in cement in Natchitoches Parish town of Clarence. The case is being profiled at a lab in Texas. Director of Operations at Ortham Labs, Colby Lazion, says funding is a major hurdle and they're raising funds at DNAsolves.org. LewisIanaCongressman.com.
The goal is $7,500, and that will basically cover from evidence received to answers back to the agency.
LRN.
As parents, we have a lot to be proud of. Our kids are smart, talented, and dedicated, but all of them are at risk. 1 in 3 Louisiana high school students use e-cigarettes, and every day more teens struggle with vape-related problems like nicotine addiction and lung damage. The time to talk to your teen is now, and we can help. Get vaping facts, talking tips, and quitting resources at BehindTheHazeLA.com. Sponsored by the Louisiana Department of Justice.
Christmas is a special but busy time for Louisiana families. Our goal is to help them save time for enjoying the company of other loved ones. The incredible edible egg makes the most of the holiday season by offering tasty recipes sure to delight. Visit laegg.com for time-saving recipes, ideas, and tips on the versatility of eggs. This message is brought to you by the Louisiana Egg Commission. I'm Commissioner Mike Strain, reminding you to include the incredible edible egg at your Christmas table.
Hello, Patriots. My name is Connie, and I am a fellow Louisianian. I started an online store in 2019 exclusively selling products which are made in the USA. My site is AmericanCentralStore.com. That's AmericanCentralStore.com. The reason for this ad is that I need products. I am trying to find drop shipping merchants with Louisiana-made products that can ship directly to the customer. If you are a Louisiana merchant who makes quality products, and if you can drop ship your products directly to the customer, I would love to hear from you. The only products I cannot carry right now are clothing items, but will carry those in the future. Please visit my site at AmericanCentralStore.com. Click the Contact Us link for the phone number and email address. Thank you, Patriots. Be American, buy American.
Hi, this is Kevin Carr, host of Fat Guys at the Movies. Listen every Sunday at 8 p.m. on WGSO 990 AM, the community voice of the Crescent City.
Hello, y'all. Let's talk daily from 4 to 5 about our town. The Cynthia Clark Show is powered by Vinyltech, the Gulf Coast premier exterior home improvement expert.
Does your business need to boost sales or drive customer loyalty? Talk to Sir Speedy. Our direct mail pros can get your company in front of the right people with our comprehensive direct mail and mailing services. All you have to do is share your goals with us and we can do the rest. Get the ball rolling and send your next direct mail project to us. Call Sir Speedy at 504-586-9812. Or visit us online at SirSpeedyNewOrleans.com. That's 504-586-9812. We do it.
You might be afraid to speak out for fear of cancel culture or losing your job. Christian Garrick Show on WGSO is your platform. Noon to 2 weekdays.
All right. Good times never seem so good. We're going to go ahead and play a clipping of my favorite president. That would be President Donald J. Trump. And we're going to continue to.
We're going to get out of the presidential business, get out of the real estate business. I'm going to become a basketball coach. And I'm going to get him and 4 or 5 other guys to transition. And we are going to have the greatest basketball team in history. We will be undefeated forever.
All right. So he said he's going to get out of politics. He's going to hire LeBron James and a couple of big brawly guys, and they're going to get him to transition, and they're going to win.
People just take offense at everything Mr. Trump says. He's a funny guy. He says a lot of sarcastic stuff. He was talking about hiring LeBron and a whole bunch of
big brawly basketball players.
And transition and call them women, and they will be undefeated forever.
I know. I mean, let's take advantage of the situation since they're already doing it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you guys would like a lot of not my friends and not my family, not my listeners, but you know, those guys who do not like President Trump, they would love for him to get out of politics.
Yeah.
Right.
But he was joking.
He was joking. I find that people have lost their sense of humor.
Yeah.
You can't say something without someone getting offended. I mean, that's just the way the society is. Everybody is offended.
I find that offensive.
Exactly. Right. So, what were we talking about during the break?
Well, one of the things was the city of Boston. The mayor, whose name is Michelle Wu, she sent out an invitation and she apologized later. The invitation was to all of the city council members except the white ones to come to a Christmas party. Her apology was that she didn't mean to send that to the white ones. She doesn't want them to come to the party. It's just that now we're going to have something for those that's going to leave out those evil white people.
Could you imagine if white people did that?
Oh, you racist. But, Albert Guillory, who occasionally advertises on this program, he points that out, that some people have the idea that just because of the color of your skin, you're an evil racist. So she says, I guess, that because some people are Caucasians and have light skin, they must be evil racists. This is the mayor of Boston, not some little podunk town somewhere, but Boston, Massachusetts.
People keep talking about racism as if it's a skin color issue, but racism is a heart issue.
Absolutely.
It's not the skin, it's the heart of the man or the heart of the woman.
Yeah.
It's not the skin, it's their heart. So you have to address the heart of the person.
So if somebody sends out an invitation that says, hey, whites only, oh, you evil racist, but she says, no whites, oh, well, she's not a racist, of course.
Nope, of course not.
Oh.
It just goes on and on and on and on, Dave.
Yeah. Oh, just curious, have you heard anything about the possibility of impeachment articles against Mr. Biden?
I did.
Yeah,
they're talking about maybe next week, huh?
Yeah, they're being considered. But to me, that's just a show. There's no way you could remove a president from office unless it was something like Nixon back in the 70s, where it was just a blatant violation of the law. So I don't know. I personally think I think he's a crummy president, but I don't think there's any way they could remove him from office through impeachment.
You don't think the removing the guy in SOB, remember when he said he wasn't going to give them the $100 million of the big donation, and they had to remove the
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that in order to finally remove him, you have to get 70 votes in the Senate, and the Senate is majority Democrat. They're not going to vote to get Joe Biden out.
we have one more year, before we get Trump in there anyway.
Yeah.
It's almost like a waste of time.
Yeah.
Should have been done a long time ago. He's on his fourth year. Why are we wasting more tax dollars on having Biden impeached? Just allow the bumbling man.
Although what would happen
fumble and
if
fall.
somehow he were removed from office? Kamala Harris would become the president. And if she very quickly, I am not saying, to kill her, I'm saying if she very quickly had something happen to her, like an aneurysm or something, who would be the president?
Oh, that would be not Nancy Pelosi because she's not in there. It'd be Johnson. Mike Johnson.
How
yes.
cool would that be to have him be the president?
They wouldn't want that.
No, I don't think so.
Mike Johnson, right.
Yeah.
Yes, that would be great. We would love that. So, and there's a lot going on between Biden wanting the war to cease between Israel and Hamas, but yet he's meeting with Ukraine's president so that we can send more money to Ukraine. I mean, does this make any sense?
Does this world make any sense?
So we're going to cease the war between Israel and Hamas, but we're going to keep funding the Ukrainians, the government.
Yeah.
And
if
Zelensky's yacht.
If we could get the Russians to quit shooting at Ukraine, that would be a big help. If we could get Hamas to quit shooting at Israel, that would be a big help.
And if
too.
we could get Biden to quit funding Iran to start the war in Hamas and Israel, that would be a big help.
There used to be in Superman something called Bizarro World, where everything was just all messed up and confused. I think we're living in Bizarro World.
Absolutely, Dave. Nothing makes sense. Up is down, down is up, good is bad, bad is good.
Yeah.
A man's a woman, a woman's a man.
Yeah,
There's multiple sexes now.
I love what Mr. Trump said about get a whole bunch of these big old burly basketball players and get them all to transition and call themselves women. and they would be the champions forever.
It was really good. I appreciated that.
Speaking of that sort of thing, transitioning and women and so forth, Riley Gaines is a college athlete, and she has really stuck her neck out, and she's
Yes.
caught so much heat. But she reacted to a new collegiate school record in track that was broken by a transgender athlete, that is a man, in the women's category. And as she pointed out, okay, the new record, it was set by a male. The guy's a biological male. He's running against women, and he's faster. Gee, who'd have thunk it?
Mhm.
Do males have a biological advantage in most cases? Now, there are some women that well, I wouldn't want to mess with them. But in general, if you take 1,000 males and 1,000 females, the males are going to have a physical advantage in strength, speed, size, etc. And so the ones that would be mediocre athletes in the men's contests, they say, hey, let me get in the women's contest and I can beat the women. You know, these guys are not the worst of the male athletes, but they're not the best. But they say, I know where I can go and I can set records and win and get scholarships. All I have to do is say that I'm a woman.
Yeah, it's unbelievable that we're even allowing that. But I think she deserves the Hero of the Year award
Yeah.
For standing up against the opposition, because it is not fun to be the one speaking the truth and you have the 1% pummeling you because they have the media.
Yeah. Now, this is one that I would find infuriating, and a lot of female athletes are also finding this infuriating. At the women's rights nonprofit National Women's Law Center, she said that, come on, girls, if you lose to a transgender man, just accept it. Learn to lose gracefully and with dignity. Oh, come on. You're being cheated against, but you have to be to lose gracefully. And this is from a woman who's in charge of this organization. I don't think that that's very graceful.
No, it's not. So we have U.S. military contractors use counterterrorism tactics against the American people. New documents show. So how are they doing this? During last Thursday's congressional hearing on the weaponization of the federal government, Democratic member of Congress insisted that censorship efforts of groups like Cyber Threat Intelligence League, the Election Integrity Partnership, and the Virality Project were benign and not a violation of the First Amendment. It's not the First Amendment, said Rep. Don Goldman. It is social media platforms terms of services. And they are flagging it for social media companies to make their own decisions. This is not the First Amendment. This is the terms of the service. So, but the CTIL files, a trove of documents that whistleblowers provided to public and Racket, revealed that U.S. and UK military contractors developed and used advanced tactics, including demanding that social media platforms change their terms of services to shape public opinion about COVID-19, and that getting content removed was just one strategy used by censorship industrial complex. That's a good one. Censorship industrial complex. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about that, and we'll hear from our caller, Matthew.
He's just made in America. He loves his wife, she's that wife that decorates on the 4th of July, but says every day is Independence Day. She's golden rule, teaches school. Some folks say it isn't cool, but she says the Pledge of Allegiance anyway. He's got the red, white, blue flying high on the farm. Semper Fi tattooed on his left arm. Spend a little more in the store for a tag in the back it says you.
What does grace mean to you? At Grace of the Green Light, a 501c3 nonprofit, we believe that everyone deserves a hot meal, clean drinking water, and the chance to go home again. Our work is made possible through the generous support of Christ Church Cathedral, the Cathedral Church of the Episcopal Diocese of Louisiana. Christ Church Cathedral acts in support of community renewal and socio-economic justice. Learn more at cccnola.org.
It's Jeff Pruitt, host of Ringside Politics. I'd like to introduce WGSO General Manager Mary Ann Guzman.
WGSO is locally owned and operated right here in New Orleans. We believe in cultivating local talent and emphasize local programs. If you have an interest in hosting your own program, then we have some prime spots available.
Thanks, Mary Ann. Folks, take advantage of this great offer. Email me at jeff@wgso.com or call me at 504-669-6076. Come fulfill your radio dreams at WGSO.
Donate your vehicle and make a difference. WGSO 990 AM has partnered with Charitable Adult Rides and Services, also known as CARS, to allow you the opportunity to donate your car, truck, motorcycle, RV, or boat to our nonprofit organization. You may qualify for a tax deduction while supporting a cause that is near and dear to your heart. Simply go to WGSO.com and follow the link on our homepage. Vehicle donation pickup is always free to you, and most vehicles can be picked up within 24 to 72 hours. You'll receive an initial car donation receipt upon pickup, and then the CARS team will work to turn your car into cash to support our cause. Once your vehicle is sold, the CARS team will provide you proper tax forms in time to file. Their friendly donor support representatives are available 7 days a week to assist throughout the process. Again, for more information, go to WGSO.com.
Hello, this is Jack Clay. Thank you for listening and participating in the Jack Clay Show, Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Our audience management asked us to extend the show for Thursday nights at 7 p.m. We will do that. At least until the 2024 election is over. We will continue to oppose Richmond north of Richmond. We want to control what we think and control what we do.
New Orleans, are you ready to have a conversation? Well, if you are, Ron Richardson is here to tell you that you should tune into my show, Conversations with Ron Richardson, every Saturday morning from 11 a.m. until 12 noon here on WGSO 990 AM and WGSO.com, where we discuss mental health, disability, and everyday life. Tune in to Conversations with Ron Richardson every Saturday morning from 11 a.m. until 12 noon here on WGSO 990 AM and WGSO.com.
So we're going to pick back up with the social medias using their platforms to, put their own opinion and to censor COVID, other people's opinions about COVID, but also to push their COVID opinion and their CDC and what they were saying, which didn't line up with a lot of the facts. And that getting the content removed was just one of their strategies used by censorship industrial complex. So I like that censorship industrial complex. That's actually the first time I'm reading that, because we're aware of military complex, media complex, and medical complex. And Trump is the one who made me aware of military complex when in 2016. I didn't even know about all that.
Oh, yeah.
Billions and billions of dollars these Ivy League elitists make off of war. So that's what made me so upset when I found out that Biden sent $6 billion to Iran. Trump then warns us that we just paid for war, and 3 months later, Hamas is bombing Gaza Strip.
Yeah.
And so here we are now. We're having to come back and give money to Israel to fight, but innocent lives on both sides, both the Palestinians and the Israelis. Innocent lives are paying for what I believe the United States, had a lot to do with. And I love my nation, but I don't like war. And I think we need, to really have an open discussion about why are we sending our tax dollars to support Ukraine's borders, but we have an open border. Things just don't make sense.
Yep.
They don't. Biden doesn't make sense. Trump makes sense.
He's a blowhard, but he makes sense.
Yes, he is. So there we have it.
Okay. Could I tell you about one other little thing?
Tell me.
Okay. In the state of Iowa, there's been a long time nativity display at the fire department. Okay, this is Iowa. they got a letter in the mail from Wisconsin saying you can't put any Christian stuff in public property. And so they said, all right, we'll take it out. Well, wait a minute. Who are you? You're in Wisconsin. And this was not something put on by the federal government, so it's not First Amendment. Okay. But then on the other hand, in the state of Tennessee, there is now an after-school Satan club that's set to start at an elementary school. Okay, so you can't have a Christian display, but you can have a Satan club for little kids.
Unbelievable.
Bizarro world.
Right. I was reading an article about the Metropolitan magazine, which is a huge influencer on young girls, young teenagers, and young, 20-year-olds. And they were actually showing the young ladies how to have an abortion through a satanic ritual. And this is recently. You can actually do a search on that. Metropolitan shows you how to have an abortion with satanic rituals. It's in your face, but you cannot talk about God. You can't have a nativity scene in front of a fire station.
Can't talk about Jesus.
But they can put that kind of stuff on the cover of magazines that influence the minds of young people.
This nation is absolutely nuts.
Yeah, everybody's losing their mind. I mean, if you talk about God, I mean, oh my God, they go unhinged. But
you're who?
Mhm.
You can't say, oh my God. But some people got so open-minded that their brains fell out.
Oh, Dave, you always make me laugh. So, you got to be careful. You got to make sure your children aren't out there and the computers up in their rooms. And, check your children's computers, check their phones, put some blocks on their parental blocks, and protect your children from, having access to this world so that you can keep their hearts and their minds at peace from all the garbage, because it's there every turn.
Well, so many adults want to be a pal, not a parent.
Right. That's right. And you do have to be a parent. You have to discipline your child, and you have to put some guidances and some restrictions there so that they turn out to be productive citizens.
Yep.
I think a lot of this nonsense is really causing, and the suicide rate on teenagers is so high, and and 20-year-olds too. I mean, people are just taking their lives because they can't handle, what's in front of them.
Yep. Okay, can I mention one more thing about Mr. Trump? There's a funny article. It says CNN host visibly disturbed by new Trump polling in key states. CNN reported that Mr. Trump is ahead of Biden in Michigan by 10 points. And in Georgia, Trump is ahead of Biden by 5 points. Imagine if you're the CNN reporter, you have to read that. Of course they were visibly disturbed.
Yeah. Unbelievable. I don't know. Let's go ahead and go with Matthew from Metairie real quick. Matthew, are you there? Oh, Matthew.
I'm here. Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So, Dave, condolences about your mother passing on. I'm sure she's with the Lord right now. And you'll get a chance to see her again in due time. Of this, I can be confident. So, there was a statue of Satan placed opposite the Nativity in the Iowa Capitol.
Yes, I saw that.
A Christian went up there and chopped its head off and busted it up and turned himself in. This seems to me like a chance for jury nullification.
Yeah. Thank you.
Martha, you said as I emailed you, you would send me that list of that alternative, the contact information for that alternative Republican organization. Did you get my email?
I'm actually on there right now. When I leave here, I'll reply to it, okay?
Okay, I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Well, listen, God bless both of y'all. Just remember, most of these people running around pretending to be Satanists are actually just atheists who don't want to hear about God.
Yeah.
So they figure they'll use the establishment clause against us.
Yeah.
And save the date. It's the next meeting is January 19th from 11 to 1.
11 to 1.
Yes.
19th. Is that a Saturday?
That's a Friday.
Uh,
That's all right. There'll be more. All right, Matthew.
Okay.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Wow, that static is always so loud, Matthew. You got to work on that, bud.
Yeah. Maybe that's the way he talks when he calls him.
No, it's the car, the wind. You
I
can hear
know,
the
I
car.
know. I knew that. I got a degree in physics. I figured that out.
Okay. Well, we don't have much time. I mean, we're here every Thursday at 5 p.m. And we are the January the 19th, we'll have another Women's Republican Club in New Orleans luncheon from 11 to 1. We're actually moving to the National Federation of Republican Assemblies. They'll be the new covering. So we are so happy and proud about that. And it's going to be 2024 is going to be a great year. I really sense the Lord going to be doing some wonderful things. I don't know about you, but I've had a rough 2023 between breaking my arm, snowboarding with the kids, and it's just been rough. The writers' strike and keeping people out of business, and so much has been going on.
Spent time in the hospital, lost my mom. Yeah, I would agree.
It's been a rough year. So 2024 is going to be a blessed year. Hang in there with us. We'll see you next Thursday at 5 p.m. This is Huck and Dave with Liberty or Lockdown. The Lord bless you.
God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, see the shining sea. From Detroit down to Houston and New York too.
Hello, Patriots. My name is Connie, and I